I didn't feel so good. And 2 days ago, I could have left 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I felt great, like better than I have in a long time. I said just recently, better than 20 years ago. We're going back to work. We're going to be out front. As your leader, I had to do that. I knew there's danger to it, but I had to do it. I stood out front. I led. Nobody that's a leader would not do what I did. And I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune.
We all know the news now. Trump left the hospital early, and his excuse is that he doesn't want to look weak. In his own words, he doesn't want to stay in the hospital. He says he's got to be strong. He's got to go out there and fight. And he says things like he's never felt healthier. That's so ridiculous,
Better than 20 years ago.
He's got to think about all those other people who don't have the special treatment that he does. He's a president. Of course, he's going to get the best treatment, and immediately as well. He doesn't think about all those people who have died, who haven't even been able to get any treatment, especially the treatment that he gets. And on top of all this, he shows real weakness as a man. And I would have to say that it's not right for me to go after someone's character. But the way he's acting is just toxic to the whole environment. He takes off his mask and infects not only the drivers in his car, he had a mask on, what we can see in the pictures in the car, but still everybody in the car now has to quarantine. And then he takes off the mask going into the White House, presumably. So all staff workers, anybody who's been in his vicinity, I guess anybody in there has basically got a quarantine now at home.
They are all isolating at home and in various levels of sickness. And there has been a lot of concern reporting that the White House simply hasn't got a robust contact tracing system in place, that they haven't got protocols in place. You saw there the president removing his mask as he entered the house. So clearly he is not going to be wearing masks, social distancing, all these things that the rest of us are told to do constantly don't necessarily appear to be happening in the White House. And that is concerning for a lot of people who work there, and not just those potential household names, but all the clerical staff, cleaners, chefs, butlers, etc. as well.
So everybody's got to be sent home because of his irresponsible actions. One thing that I want to point out is that I've heard about that from his niece. She wrote a book. And in there, he tells a story about, Mary, tells a story about, when Trump's mother was in hospital, she had cancer, and they had to cut in and clean everything out, clean the inside of her body. And as that was happening, of course, she's screaming in agony, and her husband beside her is like very serious. He can't handle it. He can't handle being in hospital and stuff like this, because in his mind, sickness is weakness, and that's what it is with the Trumps. Sickness is weakness. And so he's telling her, stop screaming. Be stronger. Don't scream. Don't complain. Stuff like that. And so, not really supporting her, comforting her, but being on the sidelines. And he left the hospital. He couldn't handle it. So that's what you see in the family of the Trump men, is that if you are sick and you go to the hospital, that's weakness. They don't want to be there. They don't want to look weak. And that's how it is. And you can see this with Trump. You can see that. You can see his attitude. Very defensive. And anything that he says, oh, I didn't say that. Well, that's not what I meant. Things like that. And so I think that's fair for me to just judge his character by basically the way he's acting.
They will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
It's very clear that he's very insecure with his masculinity. He's very insecure about looking weak. He thinks, just like a lot of people, that if you wear a mask, if you're protecting yourself, you're weak. And if you can't handle this, you're weak. So it's very insulting. And I've made a comment about this, just pointing that out. Well, actually, yeah, I can see he's very insecure with himself by his own comments about this. And it's just people, oh, you're a beta male, stay home with mommy. I'm like, wow, really? Are you really that insecure? like really? That's what it comes down to. Is just, yeah, okay. Anyways, that just shows how little is up here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, is what we can say about Trump, is just he's very insecure with himself. Anyways, I think politically, with what's going on in the States, it would be a really bad thing if he did die from COVID-19. I think that would be a real big mess for the country, and especially with the relations with China. It would not be good, and it's a good reason that he stays in office. For one, he's kind of a predictable guy. You know what he's like. He's very open about it. Yeah, it's I can't really tell, but people are saying that it's bad for the US economy, so that means it's good for China. I mean, US is pulling out of so many things that they're doing internationally. They want to be more center-focused, self-focused, and that helps other powers like China to come up and take the position, a leadership position. So that's just a clear observation from me. Anyways, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.
We're men in tights, always on guard, defending the people's rights.